Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another live stream. Chelsea news, Arsenal preview. And what a thoroughly depressing day, guys. Thoroughly depressing. Obviously, coming off the defeat against Man City at Wembley. Maybe we could have done with some good news, but confirmed in the last sort of half hour or so, Thiago Silva is officially leaving Chelsea at the end of the season. We're going to dive into that. If that bad news wasn't enough, we've got Cole Palmer, major doubt for the Arsenal game tomorrow. Malo Gusto injured. Ben Chilwell injured again. It just doesn't stop. It just does not stop. We've got the latest on Nicholas Jackson. Mauricio Pochettino backing the striker after suffering abuse, which is totally unacceptable. And yeah, just a general terrible day uh, in the life of Chelsea fans. Not so much bad news, and yeah, just a thoroughly depressing feel heading into a really important game. How depressing! How depressing! Big up everyone that's locked in. We sort of knew it was coming, but still, when you get that confirmation that it's definitely happening, and you realise that Thiago Silva's got 7 more games left in a Chelsea shirt, yeah, it's shit. It's really shit. And I just don't understand why they didn't even bother entertaining the prospect of giving him a new deal. If he wanted to turn down and move on, that would be no problem. But the fact that Chelsea haven't even offered him anything, and he wasn't getting the feeling from them is just a disgrace, an absolute disgrace, and goes to show that we simply do not learn from our mistakes time after time after time. But it is what it is. I mean, a lot of news to get into, guys. Unfortunately, a lot of it not good news, a lot of it negative. The Arsenal game was going to be tough anyway. It's looking like it's going to be a whole lot tougher. And yeah, we could be in big trouble. I'm not going to lie, we could be in problems. But big up everyone that's locked in. Appreciate you guys being here. Make sure you're running the likes up, people. Make sure you're subscribing to the channel if you're new around here, as we look to head towards 9,000 subscribers as quickly as possible. Smash the likes. Let's get this up to 50 likes as quickly as possible. Yeah, you guys know what to do. It massively helps out. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, all that good stuff. And let's say hello to a few people in the chat before diving into things. Don't feel confident going into the game tomorrow night, and if Cole Palmer doesn't play, we are finished. Yeah. We could be in trouble tomorrow. It could well happen. It could well happen. I don't want to say it definitely will, but I think there's a high chance that it absolutely will. I think there'll be a lot of people feeling little bit emotional after that game against Bournemouth, Thiago Silva's last game in a Chelsea shirt. No, I don't like it. No, it depends who it is. If it's certain players, I don't really mind. But yeah, when it's a legend who's given so much to this football club and has been exceptional in the way that he's conducted himself and his performances, yeah, it's a real shame. Yeah, we're going to dive into this. Don't understand myself. Yeah, that's a problem. Big problem. No, I had to agree on that one. I mean, after Wembley, I right there and then I had to. I gave my thoughts, and I thought, do you know what, we probably are going to miss out. But this week will go a long way to determining whether we will or not. Yes, big up. Yes, chose to turn up. Yeah, we have to, but whether we do or not is another thing. Yeah, that's going to be going loud in the away end tomorrow. 100%. That's going to be that will be going off. No, I don't think many of us are expecting that to happen. Yeah, I know. I said it at the time. We're not going to move forward as a football club if we're going to be replacing Silva with a fucking 19-year-old or 20-year-old. Yeah, but let's dive into the news then. Confirmed Fabrizio Romano, Thiago Silva will be leaving Chelsea at the end of the season. There it is. Thiago Silva's leaving Chelsea Football Club. Apparently, according to Fabrizio, which obviously is a very good source, it's fair to say Chelsea and Silva never really discussed a new deal. He never had that feeling from Chelsea, and the plans are different. I don't understand why the club wouldn't even entertain discussing a deal. And you know what? This sums up the legend that he is. Silva reportedly had offers to had offers to leave in January, but he wanted to stay and help Chelsea in this complicated season and help their young players. He did the best for Chelsea and will do so until the end. What a legend, what a player, what a guy. The fact that it just speaks volumes about him. Speaks volumes about him. What a player, what a guy. Absolute legend. And once again, it's just the way this club treats players is so poor, so poor. I'm not saying that Silva would have played every week, but you can't tell me that having his experience around the place wouldn't have been beneficial for this young squad for another year. And the fact that we didn't even entertain it just speaks volumes about the club. I don't understand it. I really don't understand. I don't understand what's going on right now. I really don't. Like what are we doing as a football club? What are we doing as a football club? It's a real strange one. It is a really strange one. He's everything you'd want in a professional. His experience is invaluable around the place, and yet we're deciding that we don't need that. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say, but decision making at this football club and the direction that we're looking to go in, we are really lost at the moment. Really lost at the moment in what we're looking to do, and to not even think about offering him a new contract when, he left. When he could have left in January and he wanted to stay and help the team and help the young players through a difficult period. It's mad. But a long time we might be all right, but certainly in the short to medium term, it's not looking great right now. It's not looking great. And this is just another day of that. Thiago Silva leaving Chelsea. Oh, absolutely. I don't think there's not going to be a single Chelsea fan that is not going to miss him. I think he'll be here next season. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Yep, absolutely. Yes, big up. It's been an absolute pleasure time at the bridge. It absolutely has. And you know what? We need to make sure that not even just for the fans, but for Silva as well. We need to give him the send-off he deserves, get into that Europa League. It's a shame that we couldn't give him any more trophies. But look, it is what it is. It's just a real shame. And look, this wasn't going to last forever, but we should have offered him something. We should have offered him something. Yeah, I think he's got one more year left at the top level. Look, he wouldn't have been a regular. He wouldn't have been a regular. That's for sure. Next season, he absolutely wouldn't have been. But he would have been. It would have been so good to have around. So good to have around. But clearly, the club think otherwise and think they know better. And they think this is the right way to go. And what more can we do about it? But it just feels like a huge mistake when we're crying out for experience and yet we're letting more experience leave the club. And Chalobah's probably going to leave in the summer as well. And then we're going to need to end up signing at least one, maybe two centre-backs, which could have been totally avoidable. And we're going to have even less experience. We're going to be replacing a 39, 40-year-old with another 19 or 20-year-old. And then we're going to wonder why we keep making mistakes at the back. We're going to wonder why we're not moving forward as a football club. We're going to wonder why these players are struggling because they haven't got anyone to learn from. And, we're just seemingly going to keep going round and round in this repetitive cycle. It's not the one at all. Absolutely not the one. I think he'll go back to Fluminense in Brazil. He'll have offers from Saudi, I'm sure of it, but I don't see him going there personally. I'd imagine he will return to Brazil. That is my that would be my guess on where he ends up. But you never know. You never know. Would he go to another Premier League club? I'm not sure. But look, it has been an absolute pleasure watching the legend play for us for 4 years. He's absolutely a Chelsea legend. And what we need to do is hopefully you can have a successful last month at the club and cap off what's been an absolutely magnificent Chelsea career. It just feels like it's a real shame though that it doesn't make it any easier. We knew the day was coming, but it doesn't make it easier. It doesn't make it easier at all. Replacing a stone wall with Lego. Well, yeah, we could. I mean, who knows? Who knows? But it absolutely looks like that. We could potentially be doing that. Look, if he ends up staying, I think we will be better next season, for sure. And you know what? In the long term, it actually might not be a bad thing. You can't. At some point, you're gonna have to back a manager. You can't keep chopping and changing every 6 months and expect to progress as a club. I don't really know that much about him, if I'm being honest. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Tuchel went to Man United. The line was on the United players' foot. Yeah, well, it is. These things always. This is just it is what it is at this point, unfortunately. But yeah, what a sad day. Thiago Silva is leaving Chelsea Football Club. The club didn't really try very hard to keep him, and I think it's fair to say that he absolutely surpassed expectations. I thought when he signed, he'd maybe come for a year, 2 tops. But to be here for 4, to be such an integral part of the team, the club, to take the fans to heart, to take the club to heart, to embrace the London life and all that stuff. It's been one of the best signings we've ever made, and he didn't cost a penny. One of the best signings we've made, didn't cost anything. And you think about all the money we've spent and all the money that we've wasted over the years. And one of the best signings we've made was a free agent from PSG at 36 years of age. Yeah. So all we can do is applaud the great man. And yeah, try and give him the send-off that he deserves. It feels like he's the last bit of the old Chelsea is leaving the club. We're not just saying goodbye to a legend of the game, but we're also at the end of an era for the club. Silva felt like one of the last remnants of the previous kind of Chelsea, the previous incarnation of the club, and now he's going to be moving on. It is what it is. I can't see us getting Marquinhos. He just doesn't fit the profile we're going for. Look, ultimately, I think they're going to end up with someone like an Ousmane Diamonde, a 19, 20-year-old. We're just going to chuck another one of them in and see what happens. For me personally, I think someone like Nacho, who could be available on a free transfer from Real Madrid, 34 years of age, experience, good defender, would be exactly what I would go for. But because it makes sense and it would be good business, it means that we're highly unlikely to be looking to do that. That Thiago should. There will be. There's already plans for something for Silva at the end of the season. So yeah, he will 100% get the send off that he deserves. There's no doubt about it. Big up to Rigo Park for the super chat. Greatly appreciated. Let that selfish prick Nonny feature tomorrow. Let him. Yeah, look, I get exactly what you're saying. It's not. It hasn't been a good week for Madueke, the penalty antics, and then been caught laughing with Grealish after the game when Silva was crying. It's not a good look. Fans can only go off what they see. And yeah, optically, that doesn't look good. And Madueke, obviously a young kid, but he needs to sort his attitude out. There is ability there. He has shown it at times this season. But yeah, I absolutely agree that he needs to sort his attitude out, because otherwise, he can leave the club as far as I'm concerned. What will it be on the final game? I don't know. I imagine there'll be some banners and stuff for sure, but I don't. I don't know. I don't know what else is planned. I think Diego Silva, yeah, but that's just not going to happen, unfortunately. Yeah, we absolutely will. We absolutely will. I mean, look, to be honest, I don't think sticking with Pochettino for another season is the worst thing in the world. I know some people think it is a disaster, but I think there's something to be said for continuity. There's something to be said for playing the longer game. I think the managerial market in 2025 will be a lot better than it is this time round. And generally speaking, like, it's all very well to want the manager to go, but are there genuinely any better options out there? We've got to realize at the end of the day that Barcelona, Liverpool, Chelsea, maybe even Man United, Barcelona, Liverpool, Bayern Munich, possibly Man United, all looking for new managers. And we have to accept that those clubs, whether we like it or not, are all more of an attractive proposition than we are at this current point in time. So, yeah, you've got to be careful what you wish for. Let's wait and see what happens. I still think there's good players in these guys, for sure. But yeah, Madueke, certainly from an attitude point of view, does need to fix up. Absolutely needs to fix up because yeah, it doesn't look good. And there have been questions about his attitude a number of times this season. So yeah, that needs to he absolutely needs to fix up and change that. No doubt about it. No doubt about it whatsoever. Yeah. Sad day, people. Thiago Silva will, of course, be leaving Chelsea Football Club. Don't know what else there is to say on that. Up on the screen right now, obviously, it exemplifies what a top professional, top guy he is. And yeah, it's up to Chelsea to give him the send-off that he deserves. But yeah, it is worrying that, we're going down this route, seemingly making these mistakes again. But what can we what can we do? And then we get this, from Fabrizio just now, that Chalobah is probably going to leave as well. The expectation is still for Trevor Chalobah to leave so that Chelsea can make profit and for Chalobah to be a regular starter, even though he actually is a regular starter at the moment and has done very well. It was the same in January and didn't happen at that time because you need to make all parties happy to make the deal. Once again, Chelsea, rather than looking at how profitable players can be on the pitch, the club seem to be more concerned about how profitable they are off the pitch. Chalobah is not being sold for footballing reasons. We know that, yet we still find ourselves in a situation where he's really going to be moved on as well. You're moving players out of the club that, have got the club's DNA in them, understand what it means to play for the club, understand the club inside out, having grown up and come through the ranks. And yet we seem to be, intent on getting rid of most of these guys and almost tearing the soul out of the football club, which is not what you want to do. No, Chalobah's got plenty of years left on his contract. Chalobah's contracted up until 2028. He signed a new deal, a year or so back, not that long ago. Chalobah's got a new deal. Chalobah has signed a new deal, and it's got multiple years left on his contract. They're not going to have a buyback clause in on Chalobah. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But yeah, it is a shame. It is absolutely a shame. There's no getting away from it. But it just looks like, when are we actually going to learn from the mistakes that we've made in the past, and why do we seemingly seem intent on making the same mistakes over and over again? Why are we doing that? I don't understand it. But yeah, yeah, we're gonna have to we're gonna have to see what happens. They're not going to keep him because they want to raise. It's nothing to do with how many years are left on his contract. It's because he's pure profit, and he's a sellable asset, and the club seem to value profit off the pitch more than they do about how much a player can profit the team on the pitch. It wouldn't be a good decision to sell Chalobah. It absolutely wouldn't. But this is what you come to expect with Chelsea. No decisions that don't make sense. Mistake after mistake after mistake in the transfer market. We're going to look at it with Silva. We're going to look at it with Chalobah. We're going to look at it with Ian Martson as well. We made mistakes with Rudiger and Christensen. Like, when are we as a football club going to learn how to operate as a serious organisation and make decisions based on footballing ability rather than decisions that are going to benefit the balance sheet? Because ultimately, that's what we're doing right now. We've made a few expensive mistakes in the transfer market, and we're covering it up by selling off our homegrown talent because it provides a boost on the accounting. That is what we're doing. We're putting the accounts above the football. And ultimately, we know that these players aren't being sold for football reasons. Conor Gallagher is not being sold for footballing reasons. Neither is Trevor Chalobah. Neither is Ian Martson. Broja, probably slightly footballing reasons. But those three particular, Gallagher, Martson and Chalobah, are absolutely not being sold for footballing reasons. No chance of they being sold for footballing reasons. They're purely being sold for the benefit of the balance sheet. And when you start doing that as a football club, you are on a slippery slope, and you are moving towards being finished as a serious organisation. Understand, like Silva, you do have to move on from. Eventually, should have stayed one more year. But like when you got players at like 24, like Gallagher and Chalobah and whatnot, guys that can be part of the club, part of the squad moving forward, players that understands what it means to play for the badge, and you're looking to try and move those guys out. It just doesn't sit well with me. It does not sit well with me. It's 100% a big concern. And I do worry about the direction that this football club is heading in when we're behaving like this with players that deserve to be treated, so much better. So nothing surprises me. Nothing surprises me at all. But yeah, it is what it is, and that is what it is. Maybe one day this club will learn, but right now we're in a difficult position where we're trying our best on the pitch, but decisions that are being made above the footballing level are causing us big problems. And that's where we are right now. It could be summed up by the fact that Thomas Tuchel could join Manchester United this summer as manager as well. That's reportedly a possibility. So yeah, it's difficult times right now. It seems right. It seems right now that things aren't going particularly well. Look, I believe in the long term we will return to winning ways, but certainly in this kind of difficult short to medium term, there are certainly problems, and the only way that you can silence the noise to a degree is by getting results on the football pitch. When you're not getting results on the football pitch, and things are bad off it as well, then it is hard. Only 33 likes, guys. Come on, let's get this up. Let's get this up now. 60 people in the building, 35 likes. Poor conversion rate. Hit that thumbs up button, guys. It's free. It takes seconds, and it massively helps out more than you could ever imagine. So please do that. Boost the content in the algorithm, and it gets more eyes on the channel, which is what we want at the end of the day. It takes seconds, and it doesn't cost you any money whatsoever. And I would really appreciate it. So let's do it, people. And whilst you're at it, if you're feeling generous, please hit that subscribe button as well. Heading towards 9,000 subscribers now. Every new subscriber really helps. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please make sure you do subscribe, guys. So they sell Trev. Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course it is. Like, of course it is. Well, guys, there's so much stuff coming in. I'll try and get to as many things as I can. I mean, Jackson's second top scorer this season, but yeah, Jackson conversion rate from Wembley on Sunday, certainly. But yeah, look, let's move away from this now. It is what it is. But I mean, in terms of the managerial situation, I mean, there's been a lot going on today. Bloody West Ham have tried an ambitious move to try and get Ruben Amorim to join the club from Sporting Lisbon. I mean, that's an utter madness, but fair play to them. At least they're showing ambition, which is fair play to them. But also here, again, this is not going to go away. Thomas Tuchel is attracted to returning to Chelsea or joining Man United. Tuchel can be attracted to returning to Chelsea, but under this ownership with this squad, despite what he's done in the past, it just is not a good fit whatsoever. And I have to say, I fully expect Thomas Tuchel to be Manchester United manager next season. I really do. I think there's a very, very strong chance of that. Unless he wins the Champions League with Bayern Munich and he decides to stay, then fair enough. But ultimately, for me, right now, I think Tuchel will be the Man United boss next season. I think he feels like he's got unfinished business in England. Again, Barca could be an attractive proposition, but I just feel like Ruben Amorim will end up there. I think that's a natural move for him to make. We do show. I think that Chelsea have shown ambition by the money they spent in the transfer market. You can accuse this ownership of a lot of things, but I don't think you can accuse them of lacking ambition. I really don't, because they've spent a lot of money. They want this football club to do well, but they've made a lot of mistakes. And some of the decisions have certainly been very, very questionable. I don't think there's no chance, but I would say it's unlikely. You can never say never in football. That's one thing for certain. That's what you've learned over the years from following football, that nothing is off limits, nothing is off the table, and to expect the unexpected. For me, there's virtually no chance that Ten Hag stays. Virtually no chance. I'll be at the Emirates tomorrow night. And I'll be at Villa Park on Saturday. It's a big week ahead. Big week ahead for the club. But yeah, in terms of Thomas Tuchel returning, I just think that's a bit of is a non-starter. People obviously will like the romantic side of it. Of course they will. But ultimately, the reality is it doesn't make sense. And that's where we are. Ultimately, I just don't think a return for Tuchel just doesn't make sense on any level. It really doesn't. I don't understand why people think that Tuchel would be a good fit for Chelsea in this current guise. He wouldn't. He didn't get on with him and the ownership had a disagreement in the direction the club was going in. He's not suddenly going to put that disagreement to one side and be happy to work in this collaborative manner with a young squad. That just isn't Thomas Tuchel. So I think the sooner Chelsea fans forget about the prospects of Thomas Tuchel returning to the club, the more at ease they will feel, because constantly calling for Tuchel to return is just a nonsense in my view, just an absolute nonsense. He wouldn't. People can talk about Jose, but this squad couldn't be more like, I couldn't think of a worse manager than Mourinho for this squad as a fit. Absolutely couldn't. Amorim is not close to Liverpool whatsoever. That has been reported today. I disagree. People haven't got short memories on Tuchel. Like, people that love Thomas Tuchel seem to conveniently forget about the negatives to him. All they think about are the positives. Tuchel has a lot of drawbacks. We were poor in the league. He falls out with higher ups. He falls out with players. Yes, he's a very good knockout manager, but ultimately, like, Tuchel's not some sort of god. He'll forever be a legend at Chelsea for what he did for us at the football club. But, you know, people just, I don't understand why people just genuinely forget any drawbacks on Tuchel. They literally just choose to ignore them. I don't think Tuchel would go to if Tuchel's going to come back to England, it'll be to Man United. I don't see him going anywhere else in my mind. We cannot let Arsenal win the league. London will, yeah, we can't let them win the league. I mean, there'll probably be a few inflatable European Cups in the away end tomorrow. Always a good laugh, always good banter. But yeah, it's going to be tricky. It's going to be tricky. Our defenders and keeper are sketchy. Don't trust them against the Arsenal attack. No, I hear you. Eddie Howe would be in with a shout, a big job. Like, yeah, I don't see Eddie Howe as a good fit for Chelsea. I genuinely think Poch will stay. I think he will. I think he will. But he needs to be backed. Some experienced players need to be added to the squad. It really is. It really is that simple. Yeah, they are. They are. What else? No, I agree that he'll be in the conversation for big jobs in the near future. I do believe that. Yeah, we'll see what we can do. We'll see what we can do on that front. Guys, 70 in the building, 45 likes. Keep smashing that thumbs up button. Come on, guys, you can do this. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. You know, Conte's a win now manager, and we do not have a win now squad. So yeah, no chance that I'd be taking him back. I think if we signed an Ivan Toney and had Palmer and Kunku and Jackson behind him, yep, that would work. That would work very well. But yeah, look, Tuchel's at Chelsea is always something that's going to be mentioned in terms of his feelings. Of course, he'd like to return, but yeah, it simply isn't going to happen. Simply isn't going to happen, in my opinion. But again, as I said before, never say never in football. But I think it's very unlikely. Very, very unlikely. Maybe that's the route we're going down. Maybe we'll just have some AI doing it next. But yeah, let's move away from the manager chat. Let's look ahead to the Arsenal game for a bit. And yeah, once again, injuries dominate the headlines. Cole Palmer missed training yesterday. Just to confirm, Palmer is ill and a doubt for Arsenal. Chilwell and Gusto are both undergoing medical assessment. But in slightly more positive news, Ugo Chukwu has returned to partial team training for the first time since that Christmas Eve game against Wolves. Poch saying on Palmer, we will see tomorrow. We need to assess tomorrow morning. Today, no, I don't think he can be involved. And even if he is good tomorrow, he may not be able to play. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know what's going on here. What's going on with, obviously, injuries, but B, why are suddenly so many of our players getting ill? We had Chilwell out with illness, then we had Sterling with illness, now Palmer's ill. Gallagher had a virus before the Newcastle game. I mean, maybe Palmer's got sick from carrying the Chelsea team all season, and it's finally taken its toll on him. But yeah, I don't understand what's going on with illness. But no Cole Palmer tomorrow would be, yeah, it makes a difficult task even more difficult. It's going to be really, really tough, because obviously he's our go-to guy, our main source of goals, our main source of creativity, and without him, we are in big trouble. We are in big trouble. Like, what do we do without Cole Palmer? I'm not saying we can't score and we can't play football, but we are heavily reliant on him. And without him, it's going to require other players to step up and produce in a way that they haven't produced this season. Whether it's Sterling, whether it's Madueke, whether it's Mudryk, whether it's Chukwuemeka. These guys, they're going to have to step up in a way that they've not been able to this season. And just not having no Cole Palmer, it's a disaster. It's an absolute disaster. But I don't know. I don't know where we go from here. I don't know where we go from here. Because what would you do team wise? What do you do team wise as well? It's going to be interesting to see what Poch does. But these injuries, in terms of I don't understand where. I mean, obviously anyone can get ill, but there seems to be a ridiculous amount of illness. I forgot to add that. Gusto missed the Sheffield United game through illness as well. It's a strange one. It really is a strange one. On Gusto again, and I mean he's been sensational for us this season. He has had a few injury problems, but apparently on Gusto, Pochettino said that Malo suffered a minor problem in his knee. I hope it's not a big issue. I think we can probably expect not to see Gusto again for the rest of the season, because not a big issue for Chelsea means you might miss 8 or 9 games and then you're back. So I think if we prepare ourselves, guys, not to see Gusto again, a minor problem with his knee, which hopefully is not too bad, but at the end of the day, who knows? And Poch just said that Chilwell is still suffering with the injury that he picked up on England duty. So why has he been playing then? Why did he come on? Why did he come on against Everton Monday night? I don't understand it, but I just don't get where all these injuries are coming from. It's not making any sense. It's not making any sense whatsoever. Probably just saying it's illness to avoid more backlash with the injury. Palmer was not moving. I thought it looked all right. He did have strapping on his thigh, but I'm not sure why you'd lie about that, because it's there for everyone to see. He did play. Played the full 90 against City. Let's wait and see what happens. But yeah, without Palmer, we are in big problems. I mean, we're in trouble without Malo Gusto as well. I mean, I don't want to see Disasi at right back again. I mean, maybe if Disasi goes into the centre and we put Chalobah at right back, or you don't play Disasi at all and you put Gilchrist there. We do need options there. Carney needs to play instead of Palmer. Gallagher should be nowhere near the 10 position either. No, I do agree that we need to get Carney in there somewhere. Same as last year, looking like 3-1-ish. I think we can probably score 1. I've done that one. Seriously, fuck without Palmer. Yep. Arsenal, easy win tomorrow. Yeah, I hope we don't get battered either. Why can't we risk Carney? He's fit and he's ready to go. So I don't see why we can't risk him. I don't see that at all. Just don't understand why he's playing in the national team and is the whole season injured at Chelsea. I mean, he played basically. Southgate is kind of fucked him really, because Chilwell had been out for ages with injury, and then he went back and he played. He played both games in that March international break when he shouldn't have done, when he clearly wasn't fit enough to play both games. Picked up an injury, and now he just can't seem to shake the problem. So I don't know what to expect from him. But that's kind of why. It's because he started those 2 games over the March international break when he wasn't ready to start those games. So yeah, what can we say about that? Palmer had played in almost every game. It's not sensation that he misses 1 or 2 games in a season. No, it's not. But obviously for us, it's a big problem. For us, it's a major issue, because now we are in trouble. We are absolutely in trouble. Yeah, guys, keep running the likes up. Have we hit 50 likes yet? I think we have. Yeah, we have. We're on 51. So yeah, keep running the likes up. Let's get this as close to 100 likes as we can. Maybe Reece absolutely should not be playing in the Euros. It should be nowhere near the Euros from a Chelsea point of view. And he isn't playing enough football. Fair enough. No, we don't ever have a fully fit squad. No. Look, I think if Chilwell keeps picking up injuries and isn't available, then absolutely, I think there's a chance that Um, I think there's a chance. I think there's a conversation to be had. No, of course, Nkunku's not even in team training. Like, no way we're going to be giving him. No way will we be giving Nkunku any minutes. But yeah, it just once again goes to show that like we can't seem to go from game to game. We can't go from game to game without having like one or two more players added to the list. It's really disappointing, really disappointing. And as I said many times before, it's something that we have to. He's still a long way off being back. I'd be surprised if we saw him again this season. Maybe we might see him in the last couple of games. But he's nowhere near ready. A lot of pressure on Arsenal right now. Might nick a win, but it won't be easy. We might never say never in football, but I think with the players that we got missing, with how we are as a team right now, I think it would be difficult for us to get a positive result there. But Lavia does exist. Lavia exists. But yeah, more problems. No Gusto is another major problem. I don't know who's going to come in at right back because it's going to be a big issue. I think there'll be changes tomorrow. I don't know where. Yeah, I agree. I think Lavia fits in. Whether you go three in the midfield, whether you go him at the base with Enzo and Caicedo, or whether you play Lavia as a rotation option in the pivot, he definitely fits in the team. I don't see how Nkunku can go to the Euros. He's barely kicked a ball this season, so yeah, I really don't see how he goes there. Only Chelsea could have players on the level of Nkunku, Lavia, James, and Fofana injured for the whole season. Yeah, this is what I mean. If you take four key starters, in my opinion, out of anyone's team, they're going to struggle. Yet when it comes to us, it seems to be a surprise, and we're getting hammered for struggling when we're missing four key players through injury. I absolutely agree on that front. I definitely don't want the Sassy at right back tomorrow. No, neither do I. Neither do I. But I've got a horrible feeling that is exactly what we're going to see is the Sassy at right back. I've just got a feeling that's exactly what we're going to see, and I don't want to see it. Absolutely don't want to see it. What else have we got going on? Tammy Abraham wasn't long ago, and then Lukaku scored at the Emirates on his debut as well. We have got a good record at the Emirates, generally speaking, but I don't think we've got enough match winners in there to go in there and cause a problem. All we can hope is we've got one more big game performance in us, and we can do the footballing world a favour and end Arsenal's title hopes 100%. Yeah, sad. It is sad. It'll be a massive loss for us. Jackson will play in the middle again, and I actually like Nicholas Jackson. I thought, regardless of the missed chances, he had a good game, and he's had a good season. Absolutely. The Sassy has a turning circle of Heidenberg will get cooked by. He will. Like the Sassy, the only way the Sassy should be playing tomorrow is at centre back if he puts Trevor at right back, and that for me is probably the best way. Is probably the best way to combat this issue that we've got. What do I think about Kai Havertz? He's done okay at Arsenal, but not exactly setting the world alight. Major doubt. I would say unlikely at this point in time. It's unlikely that Kai Havertz will play. Sorry, not Kai Havertz. Sorry, it's unlikely that Palmer will play. He absolutely isn't. I mean, I don't understand how people can watch Jackson and think he's terrible. He's not. He's got 10 Premier League goals this season. Yes, his finishing needs working on, but his overall attributes and what he offers the team are very, very good. His hold-up play, his link-up play, the way that he runs channels, the way that he stretches teams with pace. He's a useful player, and he's proven his worth in a number of games this season. I don't think you can put his debut season down as anything other than a positive step in the right direction. But yeah, obviously, yeah, Gusto, knee problem, Palmer, major doubt, Chilwell out, Thiago Silva leaving. Yeah, it's all been great, hasn't it? What a day it's been. Let me have a quick look. There's been some stuff from Jose Mourinho, some quotes that have just come out about his next job. Let's bring these up on the screen. Let's have a look. So Mourinho has been talking about his next about his next job. Former Chelsea manager Jose Mourinho on his next role. Do you think if it was at a big Premier League club and we were 6th, 7th, 8th in the table, I still have a job? What I am saying is people should look at me the way they look at others. Yeah, I think that's fair to say. I think that's absolutely fair to say what he's saying there. I don't know what Jose's next job's going to be. He's been saying some other bits and pieces as well. Let me find the rest of the quotes. Where are the rest of these quotes? Let me just quickly find them. What we got here? When I went to Roma, nobody was dreaming about European Cup finals, and we did it. It's not possible I go to a club almost relegated, and the objective is to win the Champions League. It's good, but it's not fair. And then lastly, what he's been saying, which I think is a real shame, actually, a real shame. Mourinho's London home is close to Stamford Bridge. He would love to watch some games in person, but he regrets it just causes too much fuss. Still one of us. And the fact that he feels he can't come and watch a game because there's going to be too much speculation about it is a real shame, because we'd all love to see Jose back watching football at the Bridge, but the fact he feels there's going to be too much speculation is a real shame. Now we know that Jose's not coming back, but the fact that he feels he can't come back and even watch any games is a shame. It really is. It really, really is. But yeah, I mean, hopefully we can maybe see Jose back at the Bridge watching football again at Chelsea, because what he's done for this football club is exceptional. Put us on the map. Probably the best period in the club's history. He's the top guy. Yeah, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens with him. But I don't care. I don't care that he's gone to. I don't really care about that. He's done his time at Chelsea. Absolute legend. Work at the end of the day. And yeah, no one holds that against him. No one holds that against him at all. But yeah, maybe we'll see Jose back watching some football. Yeah, I mean, Chelsea have been linked with Elisa a number of times. That Fraser guy, I don't think he's not a great source, to be perfectly honest. But yeah. What else have we got? Put Gilchrist right back. Yeah, I agree. Gilchrist should be right back. Right. On that Mourinho front, let's get into sort of the lineup for the game. Let's talk a little bit more about the game itself. It's going to be an interesting one. Arsenal can certainly cause us problems. I mean, this is one of our games in hand. One of our games in hand. So if we were to win this, then we would go level on points with Newcastle and Man United. We would move from 9th to 7th. We'd go above United on goal difference. So there's a lot at stake here. We can move 7th, and we can also end Arsenal's title hope. So there's a lot to play for here. Yeah, let's dive into the team, because there are a number of decisions to be made here. And we'll talk about the game itself, the tactical breakdown because there's a lot of decisions that need to be made. Pochettino's hinted at there being changes to the lineup. I expect that to be the case. But let's take a look. Obviously, we know what's going to happen in goal. It'll be Petrovic in goal. Left back obviously picks itself. It will be Cucurella because Chilwell's unavailable. So that's fine. Thiago Silva will be one of the defenders. And then you've got a couple of decisions in this situation here where, for me, I think the easiest, although Chalobah and Silva have started the last few games together as a centre-back partnership, do you want to disrupt that, put Disasi in there and play Trevor at right back? Or would I not play Disasi at all and just stick Gilchrist in there? For me, I would do the latter. I'd stick with Silva and Chalobah because I think that partnership is looking good. So I go Silva and Chalobah, and then I would go Alfie Gilchrist at right back. That's what I would personally do because I think he deserves an opportunity to start a game. But ultimately, I think what will happen is it will be Chalobah at right back with Disasi in the middle alongside Silva. But this is what I would personally go with. What I would also do, and I know it might not be a popular decision, but Enzo clearly wasn't fit at the weekend. You can just tell when he's playing for a hernia issue, and it's all admirable and that. But yeah, he's not fit. You can tell he's not fit. So for me, I wouldn't play him because we're just running him into the ground, and we're going to cause more bad than good with him keeping on playing. With these injections that he's having. So for me, I'd be going Gallagher. I'll be going Gallagher and Caicedo in the pivot. I know this is not going to happen, but this is what I would personally do for the reasons given. I'd go Gallagher and Caicedo in that pivot. Again, we've got to be careful with Caicedo and Jackson are still... This is the last game that they need to avoid a booking in. And then the bookings are wiped clear after this game. And they don't have to worry about a two-match ban. But if either Jackson or Caicedo gets booked, then yeah, there's going to be they'll serve a two-match ban, which at this stage of the season, given our injury problems and how stretched the squad is, it would be an absolute disaster to be without Jackson for 2 games, because then we literally would have no striker, which would be a massive problem. So hopefully those two have got through a number of games without getting booked. So hopefully they can just clear the final hurdle and not get booked, because a 2-match ban at this stage of the season with the games we've got coming up would be a big problem. But that's the midfield that I'd go with. We've got to presume that Cole Palmer won't be available, which is obviously a huge blow, but we've got to presume that. So on the right-hand side, I would go with middle. I personally would go with Raheem Sterling. I'll explain why. This is what I would do. Do I think this is going to happen? No, I don't think it's going to happen. But the reason why I think Sterling should play over Madueke is A, Madueke's attitude, and he didn't have a great game at Wembley. B, Sterling tends to do better in these bigger games, in my opinion. Chukwuemeka should come in that number 10 role, more of a natural 10, can make more things happen on the ball. He's more attack-minded, talented boy, absolutely deserves his opportunity. And then I'd stick with Mudryk on the left, point to prove against Arsenal as always. Direct, unpredictable, pacing behind. I think he gives you better. I think he offers a bit more than Madueke does. And I think, having missed out on a start in the semi-final, I think he deserves to start this game, and Madueke should return to the bench. That for me is what I would. That's what I'd have there. We all know it's going to be We all know it's going to be an Enzo Caicedo pivot with Gallagher in the 10, probably Mudryk on the left, Sterling on the right. We know that's going to be the case. I'd be surprised if Madueke started this game, but you just never know. You just never know. But I would be surprised if Madueke did start this game. If I'm being totally honest, I would be surprised. But let's wait and see. Let's wait and see. Yeah, he has been in recently. I think he's still struggling to make an impact as a starter. I think that's definitely fair to say. I think that's absolutely fair to say as well. Yeah, but that's totally different circumstances. We can't start basing players starting on if they scored against a certain team last season. That shouldn't really be a way that we are operating as a football club. In my view, absolutely agree on that. Send Enzo for surgery, 100%, and then obviously Jackson will lead the line. And yeah, it's a big game for Jackson, but we need a response from Wembley. I mean, in fairness, his performance at Wembley was good. He just obviously missed the big opportunities, and the fact that Jackson's come in for a load of racial abuse off the back of that is an absolute disgrace, and it's great to hear that Chelsea are going to be clamping down hard on that, and to think supporters of this football club are sending that sort of abuse towards their own players is an absolute disgrace, and those people should be identified, banned, and never set foot inside a football ground ever again. It's as simple as that. I mean, Poch has been talking about Jackson and his faith in Jackson, and he said in the presser today, if we compare him to Drogba, he's always going to lose. But I think he's doing fantastic and has all my support. Even if he doesn't score, he's fighting for the club and his teammates and producing chances. He needs time to improve. He's going to be better next season for sure, no doubt. I absolutely agree with that. I think from the expectation. Yeah, it's a huge problem. It's a huge problem, and it's mad that we've got to a point where that's kind of the norm after a footballer has a bad game. Imagine you had a bad day at work and you came home and you had just had hundreds of people racially abusing you. I mean, it's ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous, and it's outrageous. But I think Jackson's had a good season this season. I think he's had a good season. 10 goals in the Premier League, 13 goals in all competitions. And he's improved a lot since the start of the season. And considering what people's expectations of Jackson were, we signed him from Villarreal, £32 million. This is just his third season of professional football. I think he's done very, very well. He's played way more than I think Chelsea would have planned on him to play. And I think he's done really well. He's got some very good attributes. And I think people just massively talk down about him. The fact that, he's had a much better season than Rasmus Højlund, who people rave about. And look, I think Højlund's a good player and there's definitely a lot of ability there. He's more experienced despite being younger. He's played Champions League football and whatnot. Jackson's had a much better season than Højlund, and yet he seems to come in for a lot more criticism than he does. He's had a better season than Kai Havertz, who people are claiming is reborn at Arsenal. It's just utter nonsense. It's just utter nonsense. I think Jackson's had a good season. I will stick by Nicholas Jackson 100%. I think he's done really well, and think he will continue to do well. And we should be backing him and supporting him. Yes, it's frustrating. That he missed chances, but he works hard. He gives everything for the team. He creates chances. He stretches teams. Good hold up play, good link up play, and does a lot for this team. And you noticed when he wasn't here in the AFCON, you saw exactly what we were missing, but he does need. There's no doubt about it. We need some form of competition up there for him. No doubt that we definitely need competition for him. Definitely need competition for him, because at the moment he's in a situation where he knows he's going to play regardless, because there's no one else there to compete for his position. Cole Palmer's not going to play as a false nine because it doesn't work. And so he knows that he's got pretty much a free run at that slot. Guys, 64 likes. Let's bump this up to 70. Come on, keep smashing that like button. Thumbs up. It takes seconds to do. It's free. Not asking for any money, just asking for one click of a button. And I'm also asking you to hit that subscribe button as well if you are new around here. So do both of those things for me, please. Be greatly appreciated. Let's bump this up to 70 likes, people. I mean, look, his finishing is... Look, I mean, it's weird because he scored a great goal against Everton, which was harder than any of those chances that he had on Saturday. Inconsistencies, rather than abusing Jackson for missing the chances, we should be looking at why we're in a position where we had to have an inexperienced 22-year-old leading the line in an FA Cup semi-final when we spent all this money and didn't bring a proven striker in. So instead of having a go at a young player, we should be looking at having a go at the club for not addressing the situation that needed to be addressed in the summer. That for me is a bigger thing to be going in on, rather than going in on your own player who's a young, inexperienced kid. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense whatsoever, in my opinion. I don't understand why people do that. It's one of the lowest things to do. Chile played on Saturday. He did. He came on. I don't know how long he came on for, but he came on. You can't talk about inexperience and then call for Angelo, who's less experienced, to start over Madueke. There's just a lack of consistency, just a complete lack of consistency in refereeing decisions. But that's where we're at right now. No one deserves to be abused, but target your criticism in the areas where it should be targeted. And Nicholas Jackson is not an area that this criticism should be targeted at. I think it's a psychological problem. He gets a lot of pressure and criticism. Yeah, he does. Enzo technically not injured, but he's been playing for a hernia problem, and you could tell on Saturday, that he wasn't fit. You could tell he wasn't fit, and yet he played. I think he played the full 90, or he certainly played the majority of the game. He did his best, but you can just tell he couldn't quite. He wasn't quite there. That's the reality. Yep, I would agree on that. Yeah, it could well be interesting. Gallagher versus Jorginho. I did hear about that. I mean, obviously, there's let's be honest. Rowan was great for this football club, but there was certainly a lot of numerous dodgy dealings going on under his watch. We look. You need a 20 goals a season striker. You need someone that's going to score you 20 league goals. I mean, we found Cole Palmer that's got 20 league goals this season. Is that a one-off or not? Who knows? But we need someone that can be a regular source of goals. I would hope so. But given the track record at the moment, I wouldn't be so certain that is the case. I wouldn't be so certain. Though Gusto is injured. He's got a problem with a ligament in his knee. Not thought to be major, according to Pochettino, but not major at Chelsea could mean he's out for a month. Do you know what I mean, bro? I hope that happens as well, but unfortunately, I don't see that being the case. I do not see that being the case. It's going to be a problem. It is going to be a problem. I just don't see it happening. But what can you? What can you do? What can you do? I'm not seeing that, but I'm not surprised. I think Kevin De Bruyne will certainly play in the MLS at some point towards the end of his career. I would expect that to. I would absolutely expect that to happen. Yeah, I think a lot of us do. A lot of us do. Well, I don't know either. It's going to require us to be in European competition, more games. It's going to require us to get to buy more clubs in our multi-club model. So we've got more players to send on loan. We've got more places to send these players on loan where we can kind of have control over the minutes that they're playing. It's going to require those two things to happen. And then only the very best will make it. And the others will be sold on, hopefully for a profit. That's the model that we're going down. I wouldn't say he's better than all the defenders we've bought, but I'd say he's better than Disasi. Badiashile, I think, is a very good defender. He's having a difficult time this season. Wesley Fofana, I think, is probably Chelsea's best defender if he's fit and firing on all cylinders. But let's wait and see. Let's wait and see if he can get himself fit. I'll get to that in a sec. Is there an argument? Well, personally, I think there could absolutely be that argument to be made. But, as far as Chelsea as a club are concerned, I don't think they see that argument at all. But I think there's absolutely a conversation to be had on that front. And I've always said that I like Ben Chilwell as a player, but I think at the end of the day, if next season's massive, if Chile can't be fit for 3/4 of a season, has more injury problems, then we absolutely will need to move on from him. We will absolutely need to move on from him. There's absolutely, no denying that. No denying that whatsoever. We would need to move on from Chilwell if that were to occur. I think Gallagher knows he's getting sold. Look, I think he's aware of the situation, but he can obviously run down his contract if he wants to. He's got the ball's in his court to a certain degree. Sad to see Vitesse being relegated. Yeah, it did help us develop. I'm not really sure, to be perfectly honest. As things stand right now, I agree with you. But this week, the Arsenal game and then the Villa game at the weekend will absolutely, I think, confirm whether we're going to be playing European football or not next season, or whether ultimately we're going to come up short and miss out again. How do we get something out of Arsenal? We've got to play out of our skin, defend really well, and then hope that we take our chances when we get some. We've got to hope that Arsenal have a bit of an off day. Options on why Poch didn't want to play Martin. To be honest, I think a lot of it's got to do with height, and maybe he just didn't fancy him. Some managers don't fancy certain players, but ultimately, the big thing for me is that what annoys me is that he wasn't given an opportunity. That's the worst thing about it. Why was he not given an opportunity? That's the most annoying thing. He should have been given a chance. So yeah, that's the reality. He should have been given a chance, but he wasn't. I don't understand why he wasn't given an opportunity to show what he can do at left back. I don't get it personally. I think it's another big mistake by the club. I really do. Because Ian Martin is exactly this. If Ian Martin was a Dortmund player permanently and was performing how he is, we would 100% be interested in signing him. That's the weird thing, We've got someone on our books who is exactly the sort of player that we would be looking at signing. I don't get it. Yes, big up. Look. Ultimately, I think I'll might have that thought at the if we don't do well this week and Europe is off the cards, and I'll be calling for that. But there's still a tiny bit of hope that we can get European football. We've got some big games, so yeah, I'm still looking forward to them. But yeah, I do agree that after this week, I could certainly be feeling the same as you. Yes, big up. I can't see any points on the next two games now. Yeah, it's hard to tell. I mean, we've gone to Villa and we've won already there this season. Whether we can repeat that or not, I don't know. We played very well against Arsenal earlier in the season. Should have won that game. Obviously, obviously it's a problem. At the Emirates, it's going to be difficult. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what games people have been watching. Like Jackson hasn't been shocking. His link-up play, his hold-up play, the way that he stretches teams with his pace. He's been very useful to this Chelsea team this season. Yes, he should have more goals, and yes, his finishing is poor, and it needs working on. But to say that he looks terrible, I'm starting to question whether I know anything about football or whether I'm watching the games, because I just don't agree with that at all. Is he the finished article? No, he's absolutely not. But to suggest that he's been terrible is I just think it's massively wide of the mark in my opinion. If we don't get Europa League, do you think Poch is sacked? No, I don't think he will. But I think the only way that he could be sacked is if we don't get Europe at all. But I'm starting to think now that even if we were to miss out on Europe altogether, I still think that he would be. I still think he'd be at Chelsea next season. In my opinion, but let's wait and see what's going to happen on that front. Let's wait and see what's going to happen on that front. But I just don't see how he's not there next season. In my view, to be, I don't want to see it, but what I would say on Saturday, it wasn't actually that bad. If we're going to be honest about it, it wasn't actually that bad. Would I give Hutchinson a chance next season? I'd say another loan. I think he needs to. I'd give Hutchinson a contract extension. Sign a new deal and go out on loan again. The best case scenario for me is if Ipswich go up, Hutchinson signs a new contract at Chelsea and then spends the season on loan at Ipswich in the Premier League. That for me would be the best case scenario for him. But if Ipswich don't go up for whatever reason, then yeah, if we can look at getting Hutchinson a loan, a Premier League loan, then absolutely, we should look at doing that. Yeah, but at some point, we've got. I understand that, but at some point, we can't just keep saying, "Oh, it's the Bundesliga." He's clearly a good player. He's proven it in the Champions League. I mean, look, there's not exactly much goal threat there. Personally, Mudryk and Noni aren't really goal scorers, and yes, Sterling scored a lot of goals over his career, but he's not exactly a prolific marksman. 5'6" doesn't suit the Premier League. He would easily get out jumped. I think that's just a bit simplistic. Of course, it's not optimal. We know that, but I don't think it's I think it's a complete disaster. I think if we want to progress, Poch needs to be a bit braver with a lot of things. Yeah, possibly. I would agree. Yes, happy birthday to two Chelsea legends. I'm seeing the Zerbi linked to us. Oh yeah, that's always going to happen. The only problem with Jackson is end products. Yeah, of course. And look, that needs to improve. But a lot of our players' end product needs to improve. That's the reality of the situation. A lot of that needs to improve. There's absolutely no denying it. No denying it whatsoever. But I mean, the way Jackson holds the ball up, turns and sprints, dribbles into space is brilliant. But yeah, he was playing as more of an inside forward at Villarreal. It's only really this season that he's played as a centre forward. So again, he's new to that role and learning that role. But you can tell that he looks a lot more comfortable in what you would say are situations that wide players would find themselves in. I think he can grow into a half decent centre forward, but there's no doubt about it that his attributes seem to suit playing, wider. That's absolutely for sure. Jackson simply has to work on his finishing, does everything else to a much higher level than most. I agree on that front. No, I don't see that happening at all. What would your opinion be on maybe loaning Madrid to a Premier League team next season? Uh, Possibly, but again, I personally don't see that happening. I personally don't see it happening. Yeah, this is, as I said, as I was saying, this is the first season that he's been a centre forward. I mean, look, we can still finish sixth. There's no denying. The games that we've got left, I think realistically, we're going to finish seventh or eighth. That's my opinion. Yeah, and this is what I say. You know, people having a go at Jackson and blaming him are missing the wider point. We shouldn't be in this situation in the first place. We shouldn't be in this situation in the first place. So, yeah, we have to look at the recruitment as to why we're playing an FA Cup semi-final with an inexperienced 22-year-old in his first season as a centre forward leading the line, and he has been leading the line for most of the season. That is problematic in itself. It absolutely is problematic in itself. There's no denying that. Absolutely no denying it. But all things considered, I think Nico's done very well. Hopefully, Arsenal get no trophies like Chelsea. Yeah, I think so. Had we got Lukaku up front instead of Jackson, I think we'd certainly be in the top five. I absolutely agree on that front. I think we would be top five, 100%. I think each of the players needs to be assessed at the end of the season. Well, look, I mean, we can talk about this medical staff thing, all day. The reality is that, Chelsea are looking into it, and let's just hope that they can sort it out. Let's move away from this very quickly. Just wanted to bring this up that's been tweeted out about injuries. And we're just going to quickly go through that because it's quite interesting. Posted up by CFC Daily. Chelsea injury table after 44 possible games. Green equals guaranteed starters / best 11 players for 24-25. Games missed using Chelsea's injury update / transfer marked. So, again, these would be considered sort of guaranteed starters or better. There's a little bit of room for a different opinion on that front, but let's look at this. So, Wesley Fofana would be a starter, in my opinion. Has missed every single game this season. Lavia has missed 35 games this season, played once. Reece James has started 6 games, 33 appearances. Sorry, 33 games missed through injury, 9 games total played. Chalobah started 7 games, missed 33 games through injury, 10 appearances total. Nkunku started just 2 games this season, missed 33 games through injury, 10 games played. Chukwuemeka again missed 27 games through injuries, only played 12 times this season. Ugochukwu played 13 times this season, started 6 games. This is obviously including the FA Cup and Carabao Cup, so it's absolutely gonna be slightly inflated. I think obviously if he puts another one out, doing the Premier League where he struggled more, then absolutely. If we look at what are we going to look at? Let's get back to that. If we look at the likes of Badiashile, he's missed 19 games through injury this season. Only played 15 times. Cucurella has missed 17 games, 19 total games. Chilwell's missed 22 games through injury. Madueke's missed 5. Silva's missed 3. Colwell's been ruled out for 12 games through injury. Gusto's missed 7. Mudrik's missed 4. Nicholas Jackson's not missed a single game through injury. Enzo's missed 3. Sterling 1. Palmer 1. Disasi 1. Caicedo's missed 2 games. And Conor Gallagher's not missed a single game through injuries. There's only 2 players in the squad that haven't missed a single game through injury. That's mad. When you actually look at it like that, that is a madness. Injuries have affected us so badly this season. You cannot get away from it. When you've got 4 players in Fofana, Lavia, and James who have missed 44, 35, 33, and 33 games apiece between them, there's no wonder. There's no wonder that we've struggled this season, and that just lays bare how badly we have struggled with injuries, and yet, people saying it's not an excuse. It's a legit reason for why we struggle so much. Take 4 key starters out of any team, and they're massively going to struggle, even more so when it's a team that is as young and as inexperienced as we are. But yeah, I mean, every time you see sort of injury stats laid bare, it just reminds you of how much we've struggled this season, because we have massively struggled this season. It's an absolute joke. It is an absolute joke how much we've struggled this season. It's crazy. To have those players missing is mad. I mean, look at all those games that have been missed from key players. It's just absolutely ridiculous, and you cannot believe that this sort of thing has happened this season, and it has massively cost us. There's no denying that. I think we would be in a different situation. I know it's ifs and buts, of course, but we would be in a different situation if these players had been available for the majority of the season, because they would have had a huge impact on this team. There's no doubt. Look, I don't understand how it can be waffling. You're suggesting that the injuries have had no impact on our season whatsoever. Is that what you're saying? No doubt injuries have hampered us, but let's remind ourselves of when. I absolutely agreed that. No, I agree on that, but there's no denying that Fofana, Lavia, James, and Nkunku, if they're fit all season, this like we're talking about a totally different season in my view. We are absolutely talking about a different season with a fully fit Reece James, with a fully fit Nkunku, a fully fit Romeo Lavia. We absolutely are. So yeah, it is interesting. Thoughts on Vlahovic? He's all right. I don't think he's what Chelsea need right now. No, I don't think he's what they need right now. No, we're not the only team that suffered injuries, but no one has suffered injuries to the extent that we have. It has massively hindered our progress this season. I really do struggle to understand how people can't see that the injuries we've had have been an absolute disaster this season. We're picking up so many of them to key players, and particularly with a young squad where we don't have the quality and depth, and we don't have the experienced options to come off the bench that other squads do, that people don't think that these injuries have played a key role in hampering our season. They absolutely have. There's no getting away from it. Yes, other teams have had injuries, but to suggest that these injuries haven't caused us a problem is, I'm not saying it's the only reason we've struggled this season. It absolutely isn't. But to suggest that they've not caused a problem is just utterly delusional. Exactly. There's no denying that the teams that are near the top, obviously Liverpool have done well, but they've got a decent squad. And when you have minimal injuries, you're gonna do well. I'd love us just to have a fully fit squad to pick from for even half a season. Even half a season. What striker that we've been linked with links up with Nkunku and Palmer behind them? I don't really know. This is it. This is absolutely it, and that has to be addressed this summer. But I haven't got any faith that it will be addressed. That's the problem. Though I agree with you, Nkunku will be much better in attacking than the other defensive players. Yeah, I think so as well. But yeah, guys, Emirates tomorrow. Score predictions in the chat before I round this one out. What are you guys saying? I mean, look, I'm not saying Nkunku's the missing piece, but those briefings from the club on that were ridiculous. But there's no doubt that if we had a fully fit Christopher Nkunku this season, we would be we would be in a better position. You know, for me, there's no doubt in my mind. No doubt whatsoever, we'd be a better position. But yeah, guys, what are we saying? Score predictions tomorrow: 3-0 Arsenal, 2-0 Arsenal, 1-1. I predicted earlier that I think we're going to lose 3-1. I'm not going to change my mind. I'm going to stick with that. I'd love us to get something, but I just think with the players we've got missing, Arsenal going for the title, we could be in problems. That's my view on it. We could be in problems. I mean, I hope it's not that. I mean, we've not been embarrassed in any games at all this season. I think, look, ultimately for me, I think we'll lose 3-1. I want Chelsea to win, but Enzo's not fit. That's the problem. He's not fully fit. He's been playing with a hernia injury. He's taking, injections before a game. He's not at 100%. And yeah, he shouldn't be starting. When he's not fully fit. 2-0 Arsenal, 3-0 Arsenal, smash and grab 1-0 win us. Yeah, United away was one of the worst games I think I've ever been to. It was an absolute shambles, absolute disgrace. That was. But yeah, anything can happen in football, absolutely. But I've got to be realistic. I cannot see us winning this game. 4-1 to Arsenal, fair enough. Let's see what happens. Ultimately, at the end of the day, we've got to turn up, give it our all, leave 100% on the pitch, hope we get some luck, and hopefully, we can get a result which we need in the race for Europa League qualification. And hopefully, we can extinguish Arsenal's title hopes and do a favour for everyone in football, and and stop them from winning the league. But yeah, guys, I'm going to round this one out here. Big up to everyone that's locked in. Greatly appreciated as always. Make sure you're smashing the like button on the way out. Make sure you're smashing that subscribe button on the way out. It's been a depressing day for Chelsea. Thiago Silva leaving, injuries to Malo Gusto, injuries to Ben Chilwell, Cole Palmer, a major doubt for Arsenal tomorrow. We go to the Emirates tomorrow. Hopefully we can get a positive result. Hopefully this week can't get any worse. Maybe it will, who knows. But yeah, guys, make sure you check out the opposition preview with Lee Judges from AFTV. That is also on the channel now, so make sure you go and check that out if you haven't. But yeah, smash the likes on the way out. Subscribe if you're new around here. I'll catch you guys with the match vlog after the game tomorrow evening. So make sure you stay tuned for that one. Until then, up the Chelsea. Peace out and catch you guys tomorrow.